One of the core tenets of debate is refuting what the other side says as specifically as you can. After the pro and con lay out their arguments in the first two speeches, the rest of the speeches are dominated by this back and forth refutation. When you're responding directly to something the other team said in a previous speech, that is called debating the line by line. The idea is you're answering everything the opponent said in the order that they said it on a given flow, whether that be your case or their case. The first part of debating the line by line is making sure you let the judge know what you are responding to. This is called signposting. Signposting is the part of an argument where you reference what the other team said and before you begin delivering your direct response. For example, let's imagine your con on the no first use topic. The pro might say aggressive US nuclear posture encourages other countries to acquire nuclear weapons. To signpost this argument, you would say something like, they say first use encourages proliferation. The core of debating the line by line is refuting what the other team said. The key to good refutation is focusing on the warrant for an argument. The warrant is the reason why a given claim is true. There are lots of ways to argue something is true. There are two important things to remember. First, don't get sucked into just debating the claim. A claim without a warrant shouldn't add up to much. You need to focus on understanding and pressing your opponents to provide a reasoning for why the claim is true. Second, make sure your own arguments and responses have warrants. One good tool to use is once you have constructed an argument, ask yourself, why is the statement I'm making true? If the argument you're about to say doesn't have an obvious answer to that question, you're likely missing a warrant for your argument, and you risk merely making an assertion. One thing to note about debating the line by line is a technique called grouping. This is when you answer similar arguments your opponent made in the same way. For example, if their first two arguments against your contention are very similar, and you thought of the same response against both of them, a method to save time is to say, group their first two arguments, and then deliver your responses. This is more efficient than referring to each argument individually and being repetitive in your responses. There are two more terms I would like to introduce you to. The first is extending an argument. Extending an argument refers to you bringing up an argument in the current speech that was established in a previous speech. For example, if you start with 3 contentions in your pro case, and in the rebuttal you respond to your opponent's arguments against 2 of your contentions, but not against the 3rd contention, you are extending the first 2 contentions. The reason why you would do this is because you have limited time and would prefer to develop arguments you are doing stronger on. The second term is collapsing. This phrase is usually used in the context of the summary and final focus speech, where teams begin narrowing the debate. They become very selective about which arguments they choose to extend. There may be a lot of issues being talked about through the first 4 speeches, but in the second half of the debate, less and less are brought up because teams opt to focus on what they are winning. This process is called collapsing. That's all we have on extending arguments for now. Tune in to the next video as we go over the crossfires.